Now I want to speak about a great rabbi from the 1600s, mid-17th century. He passed away. His name was Rabbi Joseph Delmedigo, very famous rabbi. He was also known as Yashar Mi Kandia. Very interesting enough. He was born actually on 16th of June 1591, passed away on 16th of October in 1655. He was a rabbi, he was an author, he was a physician, a mathematician, and a music theorist. Let's just say in of itself. So it had various different, let's just say, a decorated CV in of itself. Now, he was born in an area called Candia in Crete. He was a descendant of Elia Delmedigo. Joseph Solomon, or Yashami Kanda, was a member of the Delmedigo de Candia lineage from the Geiger family of Germany that settled first in Crete and then in Italy. Now, eventually, he would move to Padua in Italy. Remember, we've spoken about it on various occasions before. He would study medicine and take classes with a person named Galileo Galilei, who happened to be a famous astronomer, let's just say in itself. Now, I think he would graduate, come what year, around approximately 1613 it was. That would be graduation time. See, he would excel in the studies. He would go on to move to Venice, and he would spend a year in the company of Rabbi Leon de Modena and Simone Luzzatto, two people we've spoken about on various occasions here on the series. Now, from Venice, he would progress. He went back to Candia, and from there, he would start traveling in the Near East. He would go to reach Alexandria, and in Cairo, there he went, let's say, into a public contest in mathematics over there against a local mathematician. It's reported over. From Egypt, he would move to Istanbul. Remember, Istanbul in Turkey was, let's say, a bastion center across the whole world within regards to Torah learning, especially come 17th, 18th century territory. Often in Istanbul, he would wander along the, let's say, Karaite communities he would visit in Eastern Europe. Finally, he would arrive in Amsterdam in the year 1623. He died in Prague just before turning 65 years of age, after there was a celebration of lights at the Staronova synagogue, I think it was called. Yet in his lifetime, wherever he sojourned, he earned his living as a physician or as a teacher. He would be also. His only known works are elim, or poems, let's just say, dealing with mathematics, astronomy, natural sciences, and metaphysics, as well as some letters and essays. So he was a very, very famous author in of itself. As he writes in his book, I believe, he followed the lectures by Galileo Galilei, who, during the academic year, I think of 1609 to 1610, it's chronicled over. And then that period, as was the accord of the rare privilege of use of Galileo's own telescope. In the following years, he often refers to Galilei as Rabbi Galileo. I think there was an ambiguous, let's say, phrase, let's just say, which may simply mean my master Galileo. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, which is very, very interesting. So he was our teacher, our master, Rabbi Galileo, which would be typical way of referring to an actual rabbi, let's just say. Now, I think someone named Elijah Montalto was a physician of Maria de Medici, is also mentioned as one of his teachers. Interesting. Now, among his works, Elim, I think, was published in the year 1629 by Menashe ben Israel in Amsterdam. Remember, we're talking about Menashe ben Israel had, I think, a famous printing house and publishing house, and was a very core, let's say, rabbi in of itself that brought the Jewish people back to the United Kingdom at the time of Oliver Cromwell. I think this Elim is written in Hebrew in response to 12 general and 70 specific religious and scientific questions sent by Delmedigo by a Karaite Jew, reported over. Zerach ben Natan from Troki, I think from Lithuania, respectively. The format of the book, I think, was taken from the number of fountains and palm trees at the Elim in the Sinai Peninsula, as given, I think we learn about in Numbers, Book of Bamidbar, in chapter number 9. Since there are 12 fountains and 70 palm trees at Elim, I think we learn in Parshat Barotka. Now, Rabbi Delmedigo divided his book into 12 major problems and 70 minor problems. The book, however, I think was censored heavily, so only 4 of the original 12 major problems appeared in the published work. The subjects discussed included astronomy, let's say, I think other topics in of itself. It would grapple with physics, mathematics, medicine, music theory in the area of music. Rabbi Delmedigo discussed the physics of music, including string resonance intervals and their proportions, consonance and dissonance. Now, Rabbi Delmedigo argued that the Jews did not take part in scientific revolution, this was chronicled over here, just using Wikipedia, of Ashkenazi exclusive intellectual interest in Talmud, whereas the Sephardim and the Karaites were more interested in natural philosophy and philosophy in general. He called the Jews to reclaim their prominence in philosophy and to incorporate into the non-Jewish surrounding via the exploration of natural sciences. That's what's chronicled over within regards to him over there, which we have to point out. Okay, now some parts of the book were as follows. There was a Mayan Khatum, which was closed or sealed fountain, known as, I think it's the second part of Sefer Elim, containing 70 questions and answers. And there's Mayan Ganim, that's another part, the Fountain of the Gardens, which is a continuation of Sefer Elim, consisting of the following short treatises on trigonometry, on the first two books of the Almagest, or astronomy, and astronomical instruments on Kabbalah. I think mainly on the Ari it was based on, and supernatural and astrology, algebra on chemistry, respectively, and aphorisms of the Hippocrates, respectively, on the opinion of the ancients concerning the substance of the heavens, on astronomy of the ancients, who considered the motion of the higher spheres due to spirits, so to say, on the principles of religions and mathematical paradoxes. I'm just reading over what is described in Wikipedia. Then there was another, I believe, section which is actually named, if I'm not mistaken, the Chokot Shamaim, which is a part of the Mayan Ganim, dealing with the first two books of the Almagest, respectively. Then another part was a Gevrot Hashem, which is a treatise on astronomy over there. Now, he wrote a defense of the Kabbalah called the Matzreif Lechachma, against the attack upon it by his great-grandfather, Rabbi Eliyahu Delmedigo. I think in the preface of his book, the publisher writes that the author himself admitted once that he was young, I think 18 years, something that when he was 18 years old, when he went to study in the University of Padua, which I recommend everyone to look at and explore that also. So very interesting. So among his descendants, I think some Rabbi Delmedigo's descendants were from the Geiger family of Germany. They would settle in central Italy by the surname Delmedigo de Candia. Others were recorded in Belarusia. They took on the name Gorodinsky, I think, of the town of Gorodin, respectively. A member of his family, Mordechai Gorodinsky, who was one of the founders of the Israeli city of Rehovot, it's reported over by Yad Vashem. I think they will chronicle this order. So very interesting. He was born in 1591, passed away 1655. Yud Dalet Tishrei is his Hilula, that specific date in itself. But let's mention a bit more within regards to him. It's actually interesting. When he went to University of Padua, he was only 15 years of age, reported over from the Haimi notes in 1606. I was in Italy. He would learn over there not just to become a physician, also mathematics, astronomy, philosophy, very much so. It will be 1613, he'll finish his studies. That would be a 7-year period at that point in time. That's when he would then return back to the area he was born of Moldato. In his area of Candia, I believe. That's at that stage in time. Very interesting enough. That's when he would start working for Parnassa, for, let's say, to make money as a doctor over there. And it was, I think, called it was in Latin. It was called the Dal-Madico, if I'm not mistaken, which is very, very interesting enough. I had these nicknames, as we mentioned before. And his travellings, just to go back to it, I think started in the year 1616, where he would actually get to Cairo at that stage in time. And he was there, I think, in the University of Cairo also. And 1618, he actually, that was the time period he arrived in Istanbul, in Turkey. And he would go various different places on. Remember, he was very into it. And I think he would meet Rabbi Yaakov ben Nachmi Ash, if I'm not mistaken, who was a famous Kabbalist also, while he was on his travellings. That was chronicled over also. And he would learn Kabbalah, I think, and he would go to the city from Istanbul to Yashi, if I'm not mistaken, and various would meet other great rabbis. Rabbi Shlomo ben Arabi, if I'm not mistaken, who was rabbi of the city, and that was another encounter he would have. And another meeting. I think he would actually go to Lithuania in the year 1620, if I'm not mistaken, and he would actually, if I'm not, correspond with the Prince of Lithuania over there. And so he was really very much, let's say, connected in totally. I think he would set up a Beit Midrash in Lithuania also, and would have various time with him. In 1624, he moved to Hamburg, in Germany, over there. He would work as the head of Jewish court over there. He would also be a darshan for the Kehillah, giving over grandiose sermons. And I think there was actually a Sephardi congregation in Hamburg where he would actually work, which is quite interesting over there. That's when he would write the book, the Mitzraf Lechochma, or the book on Kabbalah in itself. And in 1628 was a year when he moved to Amsterdam. And there he would once again work as head of Jewish court, Ab Bet Din. He'd become a rabbi of the congregation also, giving over grandiose sermons once again over there, and would work for the Sephardi community over there as head of Jewish court. And he was, I think, very close to Rabbi Menashe ben Israel, as I mentioned on the outset. He was a rabbi of the congregation called Nevei Shalom over there, and that he would basically help print his book also. 1631 would see him move to Frankfurt then in Germany. Over there once again he'd work as a doctor, and he would work part of the Kehillah over there, and then eventually he would end up in Eretz Yisrael and spend time there. And then afterwards he would, on his way, I think he would go to Prague, and over there in Prague he would actually pass away. So very interesting. And so many of his books, he wrote many different Torah works in itself. He passed away the 14th of Tishrei, Hilula, that's the day before Sukkot, 1655. That it was the day before Sukkot, naturally. I believe he was 64 years of age. I think he was buried in the Beit Kavrota Yehudi Ha'atik in Prague, in Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic. That's where he was buried also. So he was a famous rabbi of his time, rabbi we've mentioned about on various occasions before. And recommend everyone to learn more about him. My friends, we're a community here. We are learning about famous rabbis of yesteryear here on the series. We've already recorded about a staggering about 1,100 Chachamim of yesteryear. So that is very interesting. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please subscribe. We are nearing at the moment 7,500 subscribers, which is a phenomenal achievement. I'm just actually recording this here from Jerusalem at the moment, from Yerushalayim, the capital city of Israel. If anyone is interested in watching any of these videos, please share these videos also to other people and join the community. So on this note, I'm wishing you all a fantastic day. Please take care and be well. And thanks everyone for watching. And Shavua Tov, we just come out of Parshat Hazinu at the moment. We're about to enter the festival of Sukkot only in 2 days' time. So please join the channel, subscribe now, and take care. Thanks.